Now in part 2, tensions rise as Inoiki faces his father and the clan elders in a meeting that could decide his place in the future of the village. Will he follow the path laid out for him or forge his own destiny? Let's find out. As the sun began to set over the Hidden Leaf village, Inoiki finally returned home, with Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji following close behind. The group made their way into a quiet, dimly lit room where 3 familiar figures sat in conversation: Shikamaru, Choza Akimichi, and Inoichi Yamanaka. The mood in the room was serious, and the moment Inoiki stepped in, all attention turned to him. The conversation halted. Inoichi immediately stood, his eyes narrowed in clear frustration. "There you are," he snapped, his tone sharp and commanding. "You're late, Inoiki. I told you to be here on time. Do you have any idea how long your uncles have been waiting?" Inoiki stood his ground, unfazed. "I was training at the 3rd training ground," he replied calmly. "And I fell asleep after that. It wasn't intentional." He offered a shrug, then smirked slightly. "Besides, Dad, you're the only one looking tense. Uncle Shikaku and Uncle Choza look pretty relaxed. Maybe take a page from their book instead of getting so worked up." Inoichi's jaw tightened, clearly about to respond, but before he could, Shikaka raised a hand and stepped in. "Let it go, Inoichi," he said evenly. "We all know Inoiki. He's not the type to be careless on purpose." His calm tone eased some of the tension, and after a pause, Inoichi sighed and sat back down, still irritated, but willing to move forward. "Now that we're all here," Shikaku continued, his voice shifting to a more formal tone, "let's begin the meeting." He motioned for the younger ones to take a seat. Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji quickly did so, glancing at one another in curiosity. The weight of the moment settled around them. "The reason we've gathered," Shikaka said, his expression serious, "is to officially name the next generation of the Ino Shikacho trio. As you all know, this team represents the strength and unity of our 3 clans, and each member is expected to be a future clan leader." A quiet hush fell across the room. Ino shifted slightly in her seat, while Shikamaru sat with his usual laid-back demeanor, and Choji appeared attentive but unsure. Shikaku continued, "Until recently, there was no doubt. Inoiki was the clear choice to represent the Yamanaka clan in the new formation. But now things have changed." His eyes turned toward Inoiki. "You've awakened a powerful Kekkei Genkai, psychokinesis. You mentioned that you might have different plans. Let's hear them." Inoiki stood calmly, his gaze steady as he addressed the room. The Ino Shikacho formation is designed to balance raw strength, tactical precision, and mental prowess. Each of our clans brings something unique to the table: Akimichi's strength, Nara's strategy, and Yamanaka's sensory and mind techniques. Together, they form a unit without weak points. He paused, then continued with confidence. "But with the awakening of my ability, psychokinesis, I've developed a skill set that mirrors the balance of all 3 clans. I can attack and defend like an Akimichi, restrain and control like a Nara, and perform mental-based attacks like a true Yamanaka." A faint smirk curved his lips. "I've become, in a sense, the one-man team. And honestly, my sister Ino is more than capable of taking the spot in the next Ino Shikacho trio. She's a better fit for the role, and she has the patience and heart for it." There was silence for a few moments, until Shikaku nodded slowly. "That makes sense." The room filled with murmurs of agreement. No one objected. Inoiki's reasoning was sound, and his decision to step aside felt natural. Inoichi, while clearly taken aback, seemed thoughtful. As much as he had dreamed of his son carrying on the family tradition as a clan head and a part of the trio, a part of him knew this day might come. Inoiki had never been drawn to politics or leadership. His free spirit and unconventional power were too wild for rigid traditions. Inoichi let out a quiet sigh. Perhaps. And then, this was for the best. Shikaku looked around the room, then spoke again. "Now that it's settled, Ino will take the Yamanaka position in the 16th generation trio. I suggest we head to the Hokage's office and inform him of our decision." Inoichi and Choza both gave a solemn nod. There were protocols to follow, and this announcement would need to be shared with the entire village in due time. As the elders stood and made their way toward the door, the younger group remained seated. The pressure that had filled the room moments ago now lifted, replaced by something lighter. Shikamaru stretched with a groan. "That was exhausting," he muttered. "But at least it's over," Ino added, smiling warmly at her brother. "You did great, by the way." Inoiki offered a lazy shrug. "Just spoke my mind." That whole future clan head title doesn't really suit me. Choji let out a hearty laugh and patted him on the shoulder. Well, now that all that serious stuff's done, let's go do something fun. We finally get a break from our parents and their endless meetings. The group stood together, laughter and easy chatter filling the air as they exited the room. The future may have just shifted, but for now, they were just kids, free to enjoy the fleeting moments of peace before their real journeys began. As the elders exited the Hokage's office, a quiet unease settled over the room. Hiruzen Sarutobi leaned back in his chair, eyes narrowing slightly. The name Inoiki Yamanaka lingered in his thoughts like a shadow on a sunny day. He trusted the trio completely. Shikaku, Choza, and Inoichi were among his most loyal and capable allies. But even trust couldn't mask the feeling that something powerful was beginning to stir within the village. Meanwhile, back at the Yamanaka compound, the next day dawned peacefully. Inoiki sat cross-legged beneath a tall oak in their garden, eyes closed in meditation. Pebbles, leaves, and even a kunai floated gently in the air around him, swaying in rhythm with his breath. Ever since awakening his unique Kekiai Genkai, psychokinesis, controlling and understanding this ability had become his obsession. Though still young, Inoiki knew the weight that came with power. His decision to step away from the Ino Shikacho trio wasn't about pride. It was about freedom. He didn't want his potential to be boxed into traditions that couldn't contain it. He respected his clan, and he loved his friends, but he also wanted to define his own legacy. As he opened his eyes, a small smirk formed. He could sense his father watching him from the house window, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Inoiki gave a subtle nod, half greeting, half defiance. That afternoon, Ino approached him, arms full of scrolls. "You're not going to slack off now just because you bailed on the trio, are you?" she asked with mock sternness. He grinned, flicking a pebble into the air with his mind. "Please, I've got more training to do than ever. Besides, now I have time to master everything, not just what tradition expects." Ino dropped the scrolls beside him and sat down. "You really think you can change the world with this power of yours?" He glanced at her with a calm but confident expression. "I don't want to change the world, Ino. I just don't want the world to change me." As the sun dipped below the rooftops of Konoha, Inoiki's silhouette remained steady under the tree, surrounded by the quiet hum of his psychic energy. While others trained their chakra paths and refined their taijutsu, he was bending the laws of reality itself, quietly, steadily, and with purpose. The hidden leaf had seen many prodigies before, but this time, something different was brewing. Inoiki wasn't just another gifted ninja. He was the start of something entirely new. Not long after Shikaku, Choza, and Inoichi left the Hokage's office, the stillness of the room shifted. From the shadows, a presence emerged, silent and calculating. Danzo stepped into the dim light, his expression unreadable, his aura as cold as ever. He had been there the entire time. He hadn't entered with the others, nor had he announced himself. Instead, he had lingered unseen in the corner of the Hokage's office, hidden by the very shadows he so often used as a weapon. Hiruzen, of course, was aware. This wasn't the first time Danzo had eavesdropped on a high-level conversation, and likely wouldn't be the last. Inoichi could have detected him with ease had he used his sensory techniques. But no one dared use such skills within the Hokage's chambers. Doing so could be seen as a sign of distrust. That unspoken respect gave Danzo exactly the cover he needed. Now, alone with Hiruzen, Danzo broke the silence. "Inoiki's Kekiai Genkai. It's even more valuable than I anticipated," he said coolly, more to himself than anyone else. Hiruzen didn't look up immediately. He remained seated, fingers steepled beneath his chin, thoughtful as ever. "It does seem to hold great potential," he admitted at last. Shikaku wouldn't have gone to such lengths to guard it if it were anything less. Danzo narrowed his eyes, the calm in his voice quickly giving way to irritation. "And yet, you let them leave without demanding answers. You should have forced Shikaku to reveal everything. And you should have secured the boy under the control of Root before word spreads further." Hiruzen exhaled a tired breath. "Control isn't the answer to everything, Danzo. You're too soft," Danzo snapped. "We cannot afford to let power like that go unmanaged. If he resists, he could become a threat, not just to you, but to the entire village." Hiruzen raised a hand, silencing him. The Ino Shikacho clans have been loyal to Konoha for generations. They brought this to me of their own free will. They trust the village. And I trust them. Danzo's lip curled in contempt, but Hiruzen continued, his voice steady, forcing them to reveal everything, to surrender the boy like a weapon. That's not leadership. That's fear. And I will not lead my village through fear. There was a long pause. The tension between them was thick enough to cut with a kunai. Finally, Danzo turned with a sneer, striding toward the door. Your indecision will be your downfall, Hiruzen. The door clicked shut behind him. Left alone, Hiruzen leaned back in his chair, his eyes filled with quiet sadness. And that, he murmured, is why I'm Hokage, and why you never will be, at Root headquarters. Deep within the dark halls of Root, Danzo's expression twisted with frustration. The Hokage's refusal still echoed in his mind, fueling the storm of ambition building in his chest. If you won't act, Hiruzen, then I will. With deliberate steps, he moved to the center of the chamber. Someone, he called out. As if summoned by the shadows themselves, a masked Root operative appeared, kneeling without a word. Send for Fu, Danzo commanded. I have a mission for him. The ninja nodded silently before vanishing into the darkness. Danzo tightened his grip on his cane, already planning his next move. He wouldn't sit idly while a rare Kekiai Jinkai bloomed outside of his grasp. If Hiruzen's hands were tied by ideals, Danzo's were not. Inoiki Yamanaka had just become Root's next target. And with that, Part 2 of What If Naruto Was Reborn in the Yamanaka clan with psychic powers comes to a tense close. Danzo has set his sights on Inoiki, and the danger is only beginning to build. Will Inoiki discover Root's plans before it's too late? How will he face the hidden threats of the village while growing stronger with his psychic powers? Don't miss what's coming next. Part 3 is on the way soon. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a chapter in this epic Naruto What If story. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next part.